John chapter 2, verses 12 through 17, Jesus goes down to Capernaum for a few days with his family and his disciples. And then he goes up to Jerusalem for the Passover. Now, while he's in Jerusalem, Jesus goes up to the temple. And what he sees in the temple courts absolutely infuriates him. And so he makes a whip of cords and he starts driving out animals and driving out people. But what I want to focus on in today's study is this. Why? What was it that motivated Jesus to do this? And why was he so angry when he saw what was happening in those temple courts? In order to do this, we need to go back to the Old Testament. What we're looking for there is what was the original motivation of God's heart when he gave Moses the instructions for that tabernacle that would later become the temple. We find this in Exodus chapter 29, where God is giving Moses those instructions for the tabernacle and the priesthood and the sacrifice. And in verse 43, God says of the tabernacle, "There I will meet with the people of Israel, and it will be sanctified by my glory." In verse 45, it says, "And I will dwell among the people of Israel, and I will be their God, and they will know that I am the Lord their God that brought them up out of the land of Egypt, that I might dwell among them. I am the Lord their God." Here we begin to see what that motivation, what that heart of God was behind the giving of the tabernacle. And it was this, that somehow in God's mercy, in his love, in his kindness, in his long suffering, God actually desired to dwell in the midst of his people. The Creator actually desired relationship with his creature. And in order to do this, God gave Moses instructions for a tabernacle where his presence would dwell above the mercy seat in the holiest of holies. And just outside the holiest of holies, an altar of incense where the prayers of his people would mingle with the smoke of the incense and ascend before the very throne of God itself. And he gave him the sacrificial system to atone for their sin, that they might be able to come near him, and the priesthood to intercede for them. This was to be a place of redemption, of reconciliation, of restoration, of relationship between God and his creatures. A place of reverence and awe and prayer. And so when Jesus walks into those temple courts and he sees those animal pens and the sights and the smells and the sounds of the animals and the people who were selling them and the money changers who were ripping people off, he must have thought, "What are you doing? You've taken my Father's sanctuary, a place where God is to reconcile to his people, you have to atone for their sins, a place of reverence and awe and prayer, and you've created a big distraction that points to nothing but yourself. It's distracting people from worship of God and of the very thing that all these other things were meant to point to, Jesus himself, the true temple." But we'll talk about that in the next Bible study.